Let's talk Tanya for the 17th of Nisan of a leap year. In yesterday's Tanya, we spoke about the idea that Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice, is natural for every single Jewish person. The self-sacrifice that's involved in doing mitzvahs and studying Torah. And in fact, this is something which we contemplate every single morning. As Dr. Rebbe ends off yesterday's Tanya with that, in the morning blessings, we say, we say, my God, the soul that you imbued within me is pure. And then we continue and we say, that eventually you are going to take this soul away from me. And the question is, why is that important in the morning to talk about that God is ultimately, there will come a day when God takes away the soul from me. But Alter Rebbe explains at a deeper level, we're saying is God, the day is going to come when my soul will depart, and then it'll go to paradise, where there it's going to be, there experience this complete self-sacrifice of immersion in studying Torah. And therefore, I don't want to wait till then. Today also, I'm going to have that self-sacrifice in studying Torah and doing mitzvahs and completely submitting myself to God. So that's something which we contemplate in the morning. And then throughout the day, are we able to maintain that feeling of just walking around throughout the day with that commitment to self-sacrifice to God? The answer is no, at least not for the average person. The tzaddik maybe is able to, the saint is able to, but for most of us, the daily tasks that we're doing to distract us from that. However, Dr. Rebbe says, if we're to sit down and study Torah, so before we sit down and study something, we should take a moment, once again, to ground ourselves, to think about it, think about this idea of Mesiras Nefesh, how I would like to have this self-sacrifice and submit myself to God, and my desire to connect to God and submit myself completely to God. So that's something which we do before we start learning, and then even when you're learning, you're not concentrating on that, because when you're learning, you're concentrating on what you're learning. That's fine. It's enough as long as you thought about it when you began. And then interestingly, the Alter Rebbe continues and he says that if you're studying for multiple hours in one shot, which is an amazing thing, but then you should stop every hour and meditate on this idea every hour. And the reason why the Alter Rebbe says is because the energy that enters this world, there are different energies. Every hour has its own energy. And that divine energy, it comes into this world. And then at the end of the hour, it goes back up. It's called Ratzei Veshuv. It's like, electrical pulse that comes and goes. It goes back up and it takes up with it together with it, all of the Torah and mitzvahs that were done in that last hour. So therefore, it's important that if you're studying for multiple hours, at least once an hour, to stop for a moment and to think these thoughts of Mesiras Nefesh. In tomorrow's Tanya, we will conclude this chapter with one more big idea about exactly how we're supposed to experience this love for God, which expresses itself in learning Torah and doing mitzvahs.